Hello, you absolute lovelies. It is the very end of September. As you're hearing this, it is probably early October. We are coming to you live for the folks watching the live stream right now. But for you listening, Jake is giggling because he came in very small, and I came in a two-shot because I am joined today by my pops. How you doing, Dad?
Doing well. How you folks?
I am very excited to figure out how we're going to do this with one mic. We've had some chaos. We've had tech issues. We've had a board die. But it all started today with directing. We work on the movie today.
Listen, I stole an out-of-towner for
non-union out-of-town actor.
I exploited friendships. I did all the things you got to do to get your movie done.
My dad's here for 3 days, and on one of those days, he got an IMDb credit.
Let's just say Poppa Jandreau makes a little guest appearance in my new movie, and it was fun. Thanks for doing that. I mean, it's not like a massive spoiler, right? We can elaborate to the people who are interested about indie filmmaking. You know, I'm doing this beg, borrowing, and stealing everything, and there's a quick little spot in the movie where I needed an empty apartment, and it just so happens one of my neighbors moved out, and so. Thankfully, our building management is using the same key box from when we moved in, so I had the code.
He's revealing the secrets. This is good stuff.
We broke in and quickly shot something, and so it was a fun day. But also, what happened is I concentrated on getting that done for us before we started today and making that quick and easy. That I neglected to set up any pod stuff, and it has just been one failure after another. People on the Discord might know because I posted about it. We lost our board. The studio board just stopped working, and I'm trying to get it repaired and figure out the best outlet for that. Thank God I'm a tech hoarder, so I have our backup interface. But that also just means that we can only plug 2 mics in. And of course, this was the time when we have a guest.
Yeah, the one time my dad's in town that we can make this happen.
I do love that he's just like sitting over your shoulder.
Yeah, like the supervision. Like
you should scoot towards him if you can at all.
Oh, I'm right here.
Because look, okay,
yeah,
maybe spin the chair.
Like this?
Yeah, look at that. Oh, Jandreau, guys.
Now it's less devil on your shoulder. Now it's like a cute shot. But yeah, it was really funny because I was watching, my dad do a role that, when I first moved out here 16 years ago, but 16 to 14 years ago, that 2-year span, I would have been on Actors Access lobbying for any college student to let me say those lines, to let me walk in that empty apartment on a camera and get that role. So it was really funny, like a decade later being like, well, that's how it works. Your friends just ask your dad to do it.
Listen, I always say, people in Hollywood, they like to say, oh, it's all about who you know, but that's bullshit. It's all about who knows you.
Yeah, that's real. That's
right?
totally real. Because Jake was like, hey, would you ask your dad if you do this thing? Because it's all about who knows you. But yeah, it's also, it was my birthday month as we film this getting into October. And it is once again a chaotic October because now not only is Jake filming a movie, but it is the month of New York Comic Con. I'm going to be on the East Coast twice this month. So it is a whirlwind and then Halloween and all the goodness. So we wanted to make sure we got a episode out to you guys as soon as possible. We know there've been some gaps in August, September.
I feel like when every episode is a catch-up episode, it's a problem.
Yeah, like we always start this quarter by apologizing.
Right. Yeah.
Like every episode has been like, we know and we're sorry.
Hey, but listen, we still had our patron only pods. I think that one just came out like last week. So
yeah, so patrons, we're trying to make sure like we really respect and appreciate you guys keep us going. So we're gonna be recording a bunch of patron stuff today, but we thought it'd be fun with my dad in town to talk about some stuff. Jake and I have some news, loose news to talk about with LA Comic Con and with a few recent things. But I also thought it'd be fun. We haven't really done a 3 or 2 generation like Superman review. I thought it'd be fun to talk about Superman from like the perspectives of Jake and I are both very in industry, whereas my dad's like just the comics. I brought my dad to the premiere so we can talk about some stories there. Yeah.
Well, though, speaking of our patrons, we should acknowledge that we are live exclusively on our Patreon, but it is not behind a paywall. So if you want to watch these live streams and laugh at us for our massive technical failures, then you can do that for free over at patreon.com/koicast. Are you having problems over there? Is that working?
Yeah, it scrolled slightly, so I didn't have the bottom of the messages.
Oh, those jerks.
But I got it.
Shout out to Real Podcast. Michael McCarstle says, in class, have fun, folks. I like that even in class.
He's just checking in.
I got to click the link.
Michael McCarstle, biggest Nightwing fan I know. A delight of a human.
Biggest Nightwing.
Huge Nightwing fan.
I feel like that's like a brand of dude.
He is so good at it.
He's very
good at being that brand.
But do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah,
though? Where like that's
you know what, I like Nightwing. Oh, like, I see everything about your style.
It's different too because there's like comic book fans, and then there's like Nightwing fans.
Yeah,
and there's this weird. I think is it because
they're cool? They're like leather jacket and like they're well liked. They're well groomed.
Is it just because of the cartoons?
I think there's
by the way, like
to Dick Grayson
right.
that like people are drawn to, and I assumed that of the people that like him.
Okay, because
like, I don't like Dick Grayson. I'm like you probably smell good.
Dislike the character.
Yeah.
But I've also like I'm not one of these people who's just like that's the diehard character.
It's
and
funny.
I know also I haven't read it, and people do.
Dude, Tom Taylor's run recently.
People do really like his stories.
When they're good, they're exceptional.
Yeah.
The recent Tom Taylor run is an all-time DC run ever. But I think it's funny how many people are like, Spider-Man fans is not like a novelty. Being a Wolverine fan isn't a novelty. But there's enough Nightwing people. I think that's also the flavor where it's like, it's not an abnormal thing, but it's not the Spider-Man or X-Men or Batman of it all.
Okay,
he's kind of the metrosexual Batman.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he is metrosexual Batman.
That's what I'm saying. He probably smells good. And their fans probably do.
I do like the Harley Quinn version of Nightwing. Yeah, like the cartoon, the Harley Quinn, or Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn, whatever the show's called.
Have you seen Harley Quinn?
Oh, it's very, very funny.
You'd love it. It's on
good.
HBO. It's exceptional.
I will say the first 2 seasons are peak, and then it just turns into a very good cartoon. But the first seasons will have like really great emotional stakes and weight. Like and I think it's because like Lake Bell, who's like this amazing indie, like Lake Bell is this like beautiful independent filmmaker lending herself to a voice of Poison Ivy, and like there's a sense of like care and like I don't know, not to say that there aren't tons of people that are voice actors.
There's a special level.
There's a level of
really,
like human artistic stuff that's my vibe because that's like my Venn diagram,
and it's so well written and it has so many morals and
it feels like an indie. It's like an indie movie.
It feels like an indie movie,
like a Joe Swanberg movie. Yeah. If like Joe Swanberg made
a Harley Quinn cartoon.
Yeah,
I had the weirdest. Did I ever tell about meeting Lake Bell? I ran into Lake Bell at a stunt event, and I told her how much I loved Harley Quinn. Like,
you told me.
That was the thing I attached to was this Harley Quinn voice, and like of all of her work at a stunt event, I was like, I like when they draw you, but like she was so smitten by the fact that I knew her as Poison Ivy that she immediately went into the voice. So she was doing like the voice at me, and like when someone's doing like voice work at you, there's so little you can do. Like I was just like, I don't know how to respond. Do I ask you a question as Poison Ivy? So I was just like, this is cool, and I said it out loud. Like I said, because I was so like overwhelmed with what was happening. She was Poison Ivy at me. I was like, this is cool. And then she was like confused. And she was like, oh, what would you say to someone doing a voice at you? And I was like, we're both experiencing this right now, like Belle. Yeah. And it was this great like meta moment where we were like, this is an odd interaction, is it? So it is. And she was just so delightful because we were both so tickled by being like, we can't socialize now.
I told you not that long ago, her movie In a World, which if you haven't seen is really great. An old friend of mine, Corsica, is in that movie. She's so good. She's the girl who, I don't know how much you remember the movie, but remember the girl who like talks like a baby?
I do remember.
Yeah, that's Corsica. Great actress. She was super, super great, super sweet person. It was one of those Vidiot screenings that I missed, where I found out like the week, the day of that they were having a screening of that movie with like Lake Bell and a bunch of the cast, and I'm just like, damn it.
That's something we should have done this trip, Vidiots. That's always one thing at the end of a trip. Where like, man, we forgot that one.
And that's an easy thing too. Like, because you can always just go to the video store and like go see the theater. You don't have to necessarily.
It's one of the places I wanted to get married. And that was the venue I wanted. And someone just got married there, and I was like, they took it. Now it's not a first time ever.
I hate to break it to you, they weren't the first ones.
It's first time
they literally advertised the weddings on the screen before the TV show.
It's very cute.
The TV shows? The movies is what I said. Stay off my lawn.
So I do want to talk about LA Comic Con.
Before you move on to that, I have a question. This is a very important question for all of our listeners. Would you rather your friend be a Nightwing guy or a Deadpool guy? Like, who's a better hang? Because you know that those are two very distinct comic bros.
I have to say a Nightwing guy, even though I'm more of a Deadpool guy. But I'm a media trained Deadpool guy. There's a lot of
you've been through.
I know how to like.
Wait, what do they call? Yeah, but what do they call like when you go to like school to be proper?
Yeah. I've been to etiquette school or whatever. Yeah. Because this is not. It doesn't. This isn't as mean spirited as it sounds, and I want to preface the asterisk. there is a certain amount of Deadpool fans that just have like Asperger's. Like there's a certain amount of people that are just like not well, and they identify with the character because it's a beautiful representation of adjusting to a world. But so many of those people are so hard to be around because they haven't adjusted
they don't have
to
those
the world.
Socials, yeah.
So like I love Deadpool, but I've been around Deadpool fans, like cosplayers when they wear Deadpool, it's like they put on the mask and they have like lost all social skills. So like as much as I respect and love them, like I gotta go Nightwing because they're like the metrosexual Batman.
I got a question because I feel like we kind of have like the age gap covers a few years of like being a comic book reader when you were a teenager too, right? Because you were a comic reader as a kid into teenage years, right? Yeah. Yep. So I feel like it wasn't really Deadpool yet for my age. I feel like my age group, like I think it was the people who were like really big into like Gen 13. And it was like there was like the Image kids, which I was an Image kid Venn diagram for sure, because I was a Spawn guy, right? And a Shadowhawk guy. I thought that one where he took the mask off the cover, I thought that was like the peak comic book history. I was like, that's it. He's black, you guys. We've cured racism thanks to comic books. But
who needs a black president?
Yeah, of course. Right.
Brokeback Mountain. I was like, they can make a movie about gay guys.
Right.
We solved homophobia.
We're done. But I feel like that was sort of a distinctive. Was there like a guy, a brand of comic guy from your era, which was probably just a few years prior, like than me? Because I feel like for me, it was really like the Image guys who were like, they were a distinct brand. They had like the Pit shirts on. Remember, they had like
I'd say for your generation, it might be like Max guys. That like guy with the claws. And
I'm sorry. That's what I meant when I said Pit. No. That's what I was talking. Yeah. That's because that's like the Image.
That's like the energy I'm thinking of.
Give him a mic. What'd you say?
Teenage
years. Yeah, I think like your teenage. Yeah.
So that was much earlier.
Yeah, because I was gonna say those were my teenage years were the Max stuff.
Max was basically time of Image. So
right. Yeah. Exactly.
So for me, I hate to say it, it was more like Marvel, and X-Men, of course, was kind of really the big thing. And then at that time.
Yeah,
so it would have been probably like Wolverine and that.
Right. Oh, okay, that's fair. The Wolverine, there's some crossover with the Wolverine guys, right?
Yeah, because when I was a kid getting into comic books, it was much closer towards, like Uncanny X-Men 120, sort of thing. So
okay, yeah, and I guess
long time ago.
I guess also like the wide berth of comicdom that we now have was significantly more. Narrow, so it was kind of like you were probably either just a DC or a Marvel guy, right? Or you were like an Archie's. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you were like, I'm really big into the Archie comics. Yeah.
What's niche to us now for them was just being a comic fan.
Say that 10 times fast. Niche to us now.
Niche to us now. Yes, Mr. Bond, sounds like you deserve to die.
Niche to us now sounds like a spell from like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, or like a Swedish dish.
Oh my God, have you seen? I know I'm all over the place, but have you seen the like TikTok guy who's slowly doing Hamilton with Muppets? There's one that got me so bad, and it was the song that introduces Lafayette. I don't remember what that song is called, but it's the like, how are we gonna do this? We're out, whatever. Like we need this immigrant, blah blah blah. You know him, you love him, and instead of saying Lafayette, you said, you know him, you love him. He's a Swedish chef, and then Swedish chef comes on and he does the rap, the really fast part that Lafayette starts, but it's just Swedish chef.
I love that.
Mumble, just like, and I keeled over on my chair in my phone, like laughing so hard. I watched it 1,000,000 times.
Sometimes TikTok is worth it.
Sometimes the internet gets it right.
Yeah, every so often I'm like, all right, this app doesn't deserve to die. So I want to talk about LA Comic Con because that's something you had brought up that I had not considered. But the chaos of LA Comic Con.
LA Comic Con was last week, and
yesterday.
Oh, is it this weekend? Oh no, you're right. It was past weekend. Yes.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise,
You've been making a movie. I'm like, this was 24 hours ago, and the days preceding.
Apparently, some bad shit coming out of it.
Yeah.
The first thing is Artist Alley being split into 2 locations, and one of those locations being like the garage, like the basement.
The basement underneath. And
did you go?
No.
Oh.
I hate that this is how I feel, but I feel like cons are a high energy output, and it's a place that there's so many germs that unless I'm getting a panel, it's hard to risk getting sick and or exerting that much energy. Like it's to the point where cons aren't Like, I would love to go to a con for fun, and I was thinking, like, what a great thing to finally go to a con for fun. But then I was like, there's so much con crud. I have so much work to do. If I get sick and it's not for a panel, then that's me making a bad decision.
Right.
And then there's also just the, like, if I do a con Thursday, Friday, I'm dead by Saturday. I have to work, like, Sunday, Monday. So it's like, do I have the energy output for no reason? So I'm like, am I just not doing cons unless it's a work thing?
Right.
And especially with New York Comic Con around the corner, I couldn't risk being down for the count starting October. So I had to like kind of opt out, and it felt so weird to be like, this is finally one I can do for fun. I can't rationalize it.
Right.
Yeah, so I didn't go. But I heard it was they for a few years now they've been doing Artist Alley on a different floor at some cons, and I've always felt like that wasn't smart. Now at LA Comic Con, which isn't even that big of a con to do that, does feel like it's like hide them. Well, because it's not so big you need to do
the thing that I've been seeing too is that people like didn't make their money back on their tables because there was such low foot traffic.
It's not that it was low attendance.
It's not that it was low attendance. Is that things were so separated, and the sign-in place where you get your badge, also like where all the swag stuff is, was on one end in one thing, and like there was no signage that said like, "Hey, more con below" or half of Artist Alley. So a lot of artists got screwed over, which is a major bummer because like that's my favorite part of every single Comic-Con. Artist Alley is my favorite. I love walking and seeing people that are doing weird fucking shit. I love seeing stuff I have no interest in, stuff that I go, oh, I feel bad because this comic that you do is good, but not good enough. Yeah. And then I love seeing people that I'm like, oh my God, how are you not
upstairs?
Yeah, right. But then the other thing was, did you see the AI Stan leak?
I didn't see it myself. I heard about it.
Somebody posted a video.
I've been avoiding it.
So
I think it's going to hurt.
Oh my God, what happened? My camera got wonky again.
Oh, it was so big and now it's, it was so
small.
What
is going on?
Today is not a day for technology.
What's happening?
It is a lot.
Everything is failing.
It's a lot. There you go. There's your.
Everything is failing.
Audio listeners are like, I wouldn't even know it's gone, but it's there he is. There he is.
I could be real big and make you guys real little.
Yeah.
I have a big ego.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Oh my God, wait, I'm leaving it like this. A little bit smaller just because, listen.
There you go. Let's be realistic with the giant ego. But yeah, I haven't seen it. What are your thoughts on
God. Okay, so I hate all AI and I want it to go away and die forever. There is an argument to be made that like if you're gonna have AI do things like weird hologram crap.
Yeah.
Like theme parks is the spot for it, right? Like,
sure.
If, we had a weird hologram of, Harrison Ford at the age of Empire doing a bit for a Star Wars ride, I would be like, okay, that's cool.
That's a reason.
I wouldn't be like putting flags in the sand over it, right? But I think but seeing that, and so like one could argue like this is kind of a theme park. It's kind of like people went and saw. It feels so exploitative.
It feels ghoulish.
Ghoulish is well put. Of a man who gave way too much to Marvel Comics in his later years. That video, it started resurfacing because of this. Maybe you haven't. Have you seen the video of him at a convention being like thinking that he was done for his day, and then his handler? Have you ever seen that video of Stan?
I've heard about it. I've seen in person Stan be mishandled.
Right.
So I don't.
So right?
Yeah, and it like hurt. I can't add more.
That's my window. I've never got to see it. And there's this video that went around years ago that resurfaced, and it's Stan I think at the end of a signing, and it's him being like, "Oh, okay, gosh, done for the day." And then his handler going like, "Oh wait, no, you still have like a speech to give." And then a guy comes over and goes, "Oh, are you ready to give?" And it's him being like, and it's like when I think of Stan, he's this like full of life, like exuberant. You don't think of him being kind of like an old grandpa, but he was a really old guy. And it's that thing where it's like when you speak to like your grandpa and there's like that slight disconnect.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, but this, and then you say like, no, we're going to this. Oh, I thought we were going to this restaurant, and it's like, and
it's
that's
hard to see.
That when I went like, that's when I became kind of uncomfortable with like thinking about all those days where he just, and not that he didn't love
lawsuits,
it. Not that he didn't live it.
There were lawsuits about how he's mishandled. There were lawsuits.
Yeah. That's news to me.
Dude, there's lawsuits with
breaking news on Quickcast.
Yeah, the Lieber family like getting sued and like they're back and forth of like how much they were like scheduling his time and his not getting the money in his later years. And
why is this not, how do I not know this?
It was a whole thing for a while. Like
we should do like a expose,
like a documentary. Yeah, there was tons of Stan Lee lawsuits. And I remember I went to Stan Lee's, there was a living wake for Stan that was really beautiful, that was really well put together, that he was not mishandled at. Everything I personally saw there is not the examples I was speaking to earlier. But it was Stan Lee's like living wake, and a lot of people got to come honor Stan and like speak about how important he was. And it was at the Chinese Theater, and it was really beautiful.
Right.
Lawrence Fishburne came out and read some of Stan Lee's like soapbox.
That's
so
amazing.
like getting to hear like that Shakespearean
wait a minute,
poetry.
I actually have seen clips of that.
I was there. So I got to like see that, and then he did it again at his wake. So a lot of the same people that knew he was going to pass soon kind of did like a double booking. It sounds crude, but like they scheduled to go so Stan could hear it, and then they did a similar thing at his actual wake.
Right.
So Stan Lee's funeral was kind of a mirror to this living wake, which was really wonderful to witness both of, and different stories and experiences. But at his living wake, there was like always that murmur of like, are any of the people here that like, because it was like an active at the last 20 years or so of his life, just running the man around.
Where's that documentary?
I mean,
Disney?
it's coming.
Well, no, it's not coming.
Actually, you're
not
right.
from
Disney's
Disney.
lawyers are
no,
like, making sure that never happens. I mean,
Right.
the people that are running his AI are making sure that doesn't happen.
But
it freaks me out because of he's someone that's a great example of elder abuse. Now he's being abused past elder.
And like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Disney had a contract about his likeness so that there was no laws being broken here.
Guarantee they sold it before he passed.
That's what I'm getting at.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned Harrison. We mentioned Harrison Ford.
Right.
I think Harrison Ford's in the opposite spot where he wants to retire, and he's like, "Can I play the Red Hulk because you can scan me, and then I cannot play him?"
Right.
Like I think Harrison Ford's like,
he's like, take my likeness.
Yeah, I'm like, I'd like my grandkids to be good. I'm gonna go ahead and retire. Can you just scan me?
Right.
And so like that to me, I'm cool with because that's him.
They staying on the Star Wars kick too is James Earl Jones sold his voice as Vader so that they can just make AI James Earl Jones forever. And like I have qualms with that but at least the actors are being paid.
Yeah.
And so like which is very different from a lot of the AI abuses that I've been fighting and that I've been seeing, and you know,
that no one's benefiting except the company making money off the AI.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I'm now witnessing firsthand in post production how companies and clients are literally saying, "Oh, we didn't get that shot. Can you get an AI of this actor?" And it being like not in their contracts, and we have to be like, "We can't." And then the client being like, "We don't care. What you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. Like what do you mean?" And so like I don't know. This getting back to the AI welcome to LA Comic-Con thing. What was the word you used? Grim? No, ghoulish. Ghoulish is really well put, but it's also like there's just this inherent sadness in it.
Yeah. I don't want to see Stan like that.
And I also, by the way, the videos that I've seen, they don't seem to have crowded around. They don't seem to be videos of people crowded around going like, oh, amazing. It's people all just being like, and like videotaping it and like very dystopian.
I mean, I feel like the robots walking around West Hollywood are that for me, where they've got
robots walking around.
Oh, have you not seen these videos?
No.
There are humanoid robots that were in the testing phase like 2 years ago that are now just like being dropped off in West Hollywood, and people are just filming them, but they're dressing them up in like pride flags and they're making them say like memeable stuff.
Sure.
So it's normalizing people thinking it's okay to have robots walking around, and it's slowly desensitizing us to have surveillance droids because they're filming everything.
Can't do that shit in East LA, only West
LA.
No,
but that's how it starts.
No, I get it.
So everybody's like, oh, this is so funny. I'm like, they're filming you. Like, this is like surveillance robot. Like, this is the most Orwellian shit, but because it's wearing a pride flag and saying memeable stuff, it's cute. No, it's not. Like, this is how you get comfortable. And the AI, Stan Lee, them people filming it, that's, to me, you're like, okay, let's see how close we can get this to normalizing it and chip away at it.
Right. Also, is there not enough footage of Stan Lee when he was alive saying welcome to a thing?
The dude made sure there was footage of him saying most things.
Can't you just make a montage of the guy and make that? I would even
It was his Comic-Con. LA Comic-Con was Stan Lee Kamikaze. There's footage.
I would
it's not like Nebraska Con.
I would even take one of those things where they make him make sentences through different speeches throughout the years.
Yes.
And I would even say, like, even that's a little bit strange because you're putting words in his mouth, but you're not. It's still like,
and that's cheeky.
It's him being who he is. Yeah. And it's not like, this is the only thing is it's like, he's not saying like, hey, we don't mind that Jimmy Kimmel was, taken, that the FCC, we cradled to the FCC and that's okay. Like, it's not like they're, using his voice to say shit he wouldn't generally say.
Right. Yeah, it's not.
But I still think that like even I'm now doing the thing where I'm like normalizing it, where I'm being like, well, it's not that bad.
And that's what scares me about the robots and the AI. And we're living through. I mean, we already lived through the internet. We already lived through all these big changes. This one's the first one that, like, when the internet started, I didn't go, oh, that's it. And this one feels like, guys, we've made movies about this.
Right.
We've warned ourselves through art for years. This feels so Skynet activating in real time that I'm like, stop it.
Well, anyways, I want to go to the chat really quickly because we passed through some stuff. Real podcast, by the way, in my question between Nightwing Guy or Deadpool Guy as a friend, said Nightwing Guy. At least I know they'll be polite in public. Doug McKinney joins us. Says that's a pair of Jandreaus. Welcome. He says, "Coy, I saw you talking about cyborg. I like a cyborg in my Justice League."
Oh, New York Jake comes out sometimes. Cyborg.
Was that what I thought it was
a little
like?
burgy.
Cyborg. Yo, look at this fucking guy over here with his cyborg.
Cyborg in West
Hollywood.
Yo,
you like
guy.
What are you, like a fucking robot?
You got some pieces.
Hey, fucking robo guy.
I don't know what you're doing here in this town.
Anyways, what Douglas actually says was, by the way, do you know that I think I'm gonna pre-apologize or post-apologize to Doug. I think I've been saying his name wrong for years. I think I've been putting an L in his name. McKinley is what I think I've called him on this show.
Oh, I've always called him Doug McKinney, and I don't think I've corrected you.
And the other day, I was reading, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. I think I take the L from Douglas, and I've been like moving it over. If I've ever done that, Darth Vadad, sorry, I'll just call you Darth Vadad from now on. Anyways, he says, once again, take 3. Saw you talking about Cyborg on your showcase episode. Tell Frankie I'm proud to be called a cyborg.
Oh yeah, we were talking about there's a character in Peacemaker that's, a cyborg, and she was talking about she wondered if people that had mechanical enhancements liked that terminology.
There you go.
Vadad, I will pass it along.
For context, Darth Vadad Parkinson's and had you'll have to tell us what it's actually called, what the technology is called. But he had the
implant,
the implant put in his brain, and then the battery in his chest. And so he can only either become wildly evil or a hero now.
And luckily he's chosen
so
to be a hero. So far. He did send me my first 2 birthday gifts.
Oh!
He sent me that Blu-ray I brought in, and also I've got neon lighting around my set now, the one that likes shine in.
Look at that.
Using his powers for good.
He is using his power for good. Also associate producer of the movie now.
Oh. And you say his name right.
He's the best. And I say his name right. Or I always have. And I got
self-conscious in this moment.
Yeah. It's like you with the wow, what a difference. I was just like, well, that's clearly how it's always been. By the way, new shirts available now.
I'm so excited.
There we go. Anyways, deep brain stimulation is what it's called. The electricity keeps me from shaking.
That's so cool.
It's amazing.
What else we wanted to talk about? I wanted to talk about Superman.
You want to talk about Soups? Let's talk about Soups. It's available now. Have you watched it again at home?
I have once. So I've seen it 4 times now.
I want to.
That's the most I've seen a new movie in probably since Dark Knight, I think.
Did I see that they released bonus content, but not attached to the
Blu-ray? It's like digital bonus content.
So it's not on the Blu-ray?
I don't know. I don't have it. I don't have the physical media yet.
Right.
But I'm not sure
on the
if it
list.
lives there.
I want that.
I want the 4K steelbook.
Yeah.
I want that's worthy.
I don't care about the steelbook. I just want the Blu-ray and 4K.
And 4K. But yeah, I mean
I don't care what it comes in.
As long as it's 4K on my TV.
I'll take plastic over steel. Listen, I get it's not as good for the environment, but whatever.
What are you gonna
live in the closet.
It slides in there easier.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Superman. I haven't really gotten Dad's thoughts. I'd love to hear. Do you want to talk about the premiere first or the movie experience first? What do you think is more interesting?
Let's talk about your premiere. Let's talk about because we've talked about premiere on your behalf.
Yeah, but I didn't think
and we were like, it must have been nice.
Yeah, exactly. We were like Dan Jurgens. That was crazy. What was your experience?
Oh, it was really wild. It was quite the spectacle. Of course, they closed down a big block of Hollywood.
2 blocks of Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh, it was 2.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so it was amazing. It was I'd been to one other premiere, which was really small. It was like the opposite. It was about the size of this room.
So the premieres that I've had is what it sounds like.
Yeah. My Hero Academia's movie.
Got it.
Yeah, it was neat too. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I mean, the spectacle of it was amazing.
Right.
For the premiere, and so just seeing everyone enjoying it and looking, forward to seeing the movie,
right.
It was pretty wild.
Do you now have a different sense of watching a movie with a premiere crowd versus have you seen it again since then?
We saw it 2 days afterwards again.
In a theater with the regular movie-going public?
No.
No, IMAX headquarters.
Got it. Okay. So not still. I'm trying to see if because an experience that I now have just from being in LA for so long is that if you can see a movie without out just the regular public and with people who have some semblance of investment, it's always going to be 100 times better.
Yeah.
We'll talk about my Spinal Tap experience on the patron only pod.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was curious of do you felt like it was a completely different energy from where you used to seeing movies?
Oh, so yeah, I think I can answer that. Outside, yes. Inside, no.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
You know once the movie was going, everyone was just calm, respectful, except there was some light cheering and so on. But,
right.
But that was about it. So yeah, I think it was a pleasant watch actually.
Sure. Yeah. Well, because everybody's sort of there with the vibe of we're here to celebrate, not just the movie, but the making of it and the people that are in the room with us.
Yeah.
Right on. Who did you were there people there that you clocked from your comic bookness that you felt you wouldn't have otherwise? Meaning people in the comic book world, or
I was reasonably sure Ultraman was going to be a clone. So
okay,
that one we talked about that.
Yeah,
but,
beforehand.
Yeah, so that one made sense to me and everything. So I think that was the one that stuck out the most.
Right on. I met people at the premiere itself. Was there anybody in the comic
Writers,
book world?
artists.
Yeah, was there anybody in the comic book world that you got to see that you were I know who that person is, and nobody else here does.
Well, I didn't know what they looked like.
That's
one of the
advantages
really Coy has.
You know what? That's true. That happens to me constantly. Yeah.
So Dan Jurgens was one of the ones that really sticks out in my head.
Nice.
Nothing like a death of Superman. So
right. Yeah.
Kevin McGuire came over and introduced himself to me, and that was crazy because Kevin McGuire's the reason Guy Gardner looks like Justice League International, Kevin McGuire. And he came over and he was like, "Thanks so much for what you're doing for the comic community." And I was like, "I never would have known what you looked like."
Wait, did you know who he was?
I knew who as soon as he said his name.
Oh,
but I didn't know his face.
That's what I meant.
But then he brought me over and he was like, "Let me introduce you to some friends," and it was Frank Whiteley, Dan Jurgens, and I was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah, 100% would have no idea who that was if you walked in. And that's a lot of comic book people. And do you want to know why? We've talked about this in the show all the time. Because Wizard doesn't exist anymore, so we don't know anybody. We don't know what comic book artists look like.
And then Jim was cool. That was what I was excited.
Oh, you got to speak with Jim Lee, right?
Yeah, Jim. And his wife.
Right. Oh man,
very sweet man.
Yeah, was it the first time you've ever met him, or have you seen him at cons?
Yeah, that was no.
We've become friendly in the last few years, so it would have been that.
Yeah, you've sent me pictures with him and that sort of thing, but yeah,
because now we talk outside of work, which is the greatest honor. So I felt like I could introduce you without it being like, "Oh my god, I'm such a fan." I could be like, "This is Jim Lee. Don't freak out, Inside Coy. This is my dad."
It was definitely neat.
Some questions from the from our chat here. Oh my god, they came rolling in. Oh, we got some folks joined. Jackie Mason, Catherine Dawson Foy. Love to see all of your lovely names and faces. ? How did Coy's dad feel about David Cornsweat taking photos? Also, it says taking a photos hoot at the premiere. I know she meant photo shoot, but I like to think that that's a new that's a new term that the kids are using. And okay, yes. Yeah, how was that? Was that an enjoyable experience?
I thought it was pretty wild, actually, because I'm not really big on trying to insert myself.
Sure.
Or I'll just hang back and watch, right? And so Coy and his mother were getting a shot with David Cornsweat, and he recognized that I was behind. I wasn't in the shot.
Right.
And he basically turned around and then took the shot with me, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that he did it giddily and laughing, and I posted the slideshow of the photos. He's giddy and half of them are blurry, and then I was like, "Oh no, was there?" And then I got to the last one, it was perfect. So he even clocked to stabilize in the excitement of paparazzi and you guys, which was so cute. And he was the belle of the ball, so to take extra time, and we talked for a while for how busy that dude was.
Well, because it was just as much for him as it was for you and for everyone and for the family. I think that's kind of the vibe you get from that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
And for me, it was seeing mom meet Nick, Nicholas Holt's her second favorite actor, only to Tom Cruise. And it was cool to bring my parents and have everyone kind of I felt like Huck Finn. I've said this before, but I felt like Huck Finn, like looking at my own funeral, like people that I admire and respect being like, your kid's doing a lot for our industry. Like I've never been in an environment where so many people were saying such nice things
kindness,
that I respect.
Right.
Like, you go to like, you go to high school and the PTA is like, he's doing great.
Right.
But then when it's like Jim Lee saying, your son's doing a lot for our industry, it's like, what has happened? Like the stakes were so crazy.
Right.
And, my dad being the one that got me so deeply into comics, he was the exact target audience to have, Dan Jurgens thank me. Like it was really cool where I was like, I could tell my mom Dan Jurgens thinks I'm doing something cool, but when my dad gets to watch it, we get to be like, oh my God.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then introducing you guys to James Gunn was really special because he's such a family, like he loves to know where people come from. He's such a his art is all found family.
He likes stories too.
Yeah, and found family is so important to him. So I was like, these are my parents. And that was really special.
By the way, Real Podcast says, can confirm the commentary is only when you buy a digital copy. That's a weird move.
Yeah.
What are they doing that for?
Why don't you get rid of something as profitable as physical media?
But also that's the bonus feature that you
point.
get a physical item for. I'm sure it'll end up on there. I'm sure that'll be
like a second edition. Like, am I going to buy another one?
Right. But also if it's not on the most expensive one.
Yeah. They'll make a re-release in 10 years or whatever.
That seems odd.
The Superman premiere was pretty crazy, and then we got to see it at IMAX headquarters a couple days later, which was cool because it was like two different experiences.
Right.
One, the IMAX headquarters is like a 45 person audience versus the hundreds at the premiere. And then and Eddie, that was fun, man. Like introducing Mom to Eddie, but then Eddie and I are friends in real life,
Eddie's
so get it. Eddie,
her Twilight.
Yeah,
guy,
the diehard Twihard. My mom is
diehard Twihard.
But like of everyone, like I know Eddie the most. I've known Eddie over a decade, and Eddie's like such a sweetheart. And to get to like actually talk at the premiere, late at the premiere when most people had left, and actually have like a nice 20-minute conversation.
Right.
That was cool because I've been talking anecdotally about Eddie almost since I moved to LA. So if you guys to meet like a friend of mine from that long ago who's now Mr. Terrific, like that's so crazy. Cause like he stole the movie from me. So to be like the guy that's the highlight, be like, I know the guy, and like introduce him and all that. That was special.
Were you a Superman reader?
Early on when I was young.
Yeah.
And then I hate to say it, but I kind of grew out of it. I always appreciated him because I remember
that's how I felt.
I remember even arguing.
Get up in there.
I even remember arguing with Coy about Superman and his powers and his character.
The same argument that everybody always has of like, well, he's too unstoppable, therefore it's not interesting.
And being immature, I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still an argument to be made. There's still an argument. Yeah.
No, absolutely, because I think if people don't relate well to it, obviously, then they're not going to buy it and that sort of thing for it.
Right.
So there's many other reasons as well. But I enjoyed it for years as a kid. I used to get into my uncle's comic books, and every time we'd go up and basically go visit my grandfather, my Pepe, we would end up going through the comic books, and probably about half of them made them back home with me, to be honest.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I was going to say, there's probably some gems.
Oh, no, they're not in the condition they're in.
Oh, no. That's the worst.
Yeah, you let a bunch of little kids read them.
Right. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I loved Superman and the Batman and detective movies, not movies.
Yeah, comics.
Yeah.
Did you lean Marvel? Because I feel like when he talks about you getting him into comics, it's all like, well, it was because of all the Marvel, because it was Spider-Man, because all these things.
Yep.
But were you one of those sort of like, this is what I really, or were you just like an equal opportunist?
Around the Hulk Wendigo, that's when I basically started buying. It was almost Spider-Man and Marvel, to be honest, by then.
Right.
And then falling into the Uncanny X-Men, really, I think, kind of sealed the deal for that.
Or the Claremont years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like because when I was a young comic reader, that was the big death. That was the death of Superman, the 4 super people. What do they call it? I don't know if there's a name for them, but like as a collective. But we had the Man of Steel, the Man of Tomorrow, the Superboy. What was the 4th one?
Eradicator.
Yeah, there we go. Like, and that was such a big deal. So like everybody was into Superman for a brief window because we all wanted the sealed black bag, and everybody was buying 2 because this was going to be worth so much money. Unfortunately, there were 7,000 of them in every house, so they're not worth anything whatsoever. I probably have 3 of them still in the closet, but it was like such a big deal. But I feel like that was sort of where like Superman as a character just sort of ended for me, because after that, none of those stories kept my interest long enough for me to like keep buying them outside of the big spectacle that everybody's talking about. And then it was just, it was all Image and Marvel from that point on. But then I feel like it wasn't until like years later, I believe it or not, I still credit the book. I think Red Sun is what brought me back to Superman. Like, I don't know, however long ago that was, 15 years ago, 16 years ago.
What's interesting to me is that the Superman we got on the big screen is what I've always wanted.
Right.
But I had to grow out of my teens and even 20s to get to the place where I would appreciate it again. So that Superman movie, I feel like it hits me. It's exactly the right time. It's exactly how I see the character. But I wouldn't have appreciated even that movie in my teens, even the one that is currently my favorite take.
Right.
I needed to go through a cynical phase and also see punk rock as a superpower, like to see kindness as punk rock. I needed to be in my mid 30s to really like find that. So I remember we'd talk about Superman as a kid and I was able to see how being good was just good. And then there's time where that doesn't happen. And it was really cool to luckily mature into a place where like this movie makes sense. And that was cool at the premiere to like have those conversations at this age. So
you bring up an interesting point. So it's about how like, this Superman movie is really good to us now because this is where we are all now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't mean to speak for company, but I think most of us are not big fans of the Snyder Superman outings.
Especially comparatively.
Yeah. Okay. So, but here's my question. Would we have liked those more if they were 10 years earlier?
In my teens, I would have loved that take.
See, I
was so angsty.
I think I might have too, to be honest.
Yeah, you might have really dug
in my teens.
Right.
10 years ago.
Because it was so dark and cool. For the same reason why a lot of teenagers liked them when they did come out, maybe. Yeah. Because they were just like, it's dark and gritty and that's what we want.
I don't know how to put the right words to it, but I mean, one of the things I liked about Wolverine is it just seemed more realistic.
Right.
And when the Ultimates, started coming out, it seemed like they were trying to play it a little more realistic.
Right.
And I think sometimes Superman can come across as too altruistic.
Sure.
So I think that can sometimes fit from a storytelling standpoint and that sort of thing, and especially messaging. But sometimes I don't think that turns on everyone's what they want to see in here. So.
Yeah, and also like there's an argument to be made that even, I mean, this is just me being a hater, kids. This is what you got. Even that, I don't think Snyder succeeded at. Do you know what I mean? Like even doing the opposite of the altruism, it's like, well, he still failed because it's like they made him dark, but they also somehow didn't make him dark enough, I guess. Because if you're gonna dip the toe in, you got to jump in because otherwise, like everything felt half baked in that sense anyway. But
I definitely think that that version of him makes sense to a certain demographic and a certain age that I would have had that experience, but I'm glad that the people that see him that way got it. Like to this day, I'm happy for the Snyder fans. And I'm glad that we have those visuals. Like I think the stunning imagery of Man of Steel is to this day so impactful. I like having both takes simultaneously. Like what I'm trying to say is I wouldn't get rid of the Snyder take. I'm glad to have seen that so I can appreciate the one I have always seen him as even more.
Yeah.
Other Elseworld.
Yeah, like I've always seen it as like an Elseworld.
Real podcasts in our chat. By the way, I keep saying that. That's someone's name in our chat, listeners. If you're just wondering why I keep saying real podcast for some reason, it's 2 E's. Wrote it for me. It took Snyder's bad take to understand Soups properly, and I'm like, that is actually kind of great. Because I will say it was when I did my Mending Steel, when I rewrote the movie because I hated it so much. That's when I myself started to discover the things that I like about the Superman story. That I maybe always felt but couldn't put into words or couldn't put into like actionable, like, well, this is the reason why. But so I take it you liked the movie.
I did, absolutely. Hey, I got a quick side question.
Yeah.
Get in
that mic.
Was it Red Sun? Was that the one where he grows up in the Soviet Union?
It's like what if he landed in Russia?
I would totally agree. That was one that kind of pulled me back in.
And it was sort of what you were talking about, where it's like it felt more realistic.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. And here's the thing, for me, it was a 1-2 punch of, again, and this is the thing about, I talk about Snyder not leaning in enough and it not being dark enough, is for me, the 1-2 punch of liking Superman was within probably 2 weeks, I read the Max imprint Supreme Squadron, or wait, was that what they called it? Squadron Supreme with Hyperion, and pretty much that Justice League, if like, what if the Justice League were actually real and they were kind of fucked up? And it was sort of a exploration of like Watchmen, but modern, right?
Right.
And that was Hyperion. Essentially, if the story there, have you read it? Do you know it?
No.
So the story is essentially, what if Superman, what if it happened and the government knew, early on, it's clear something came into our airspace. Like it was, the government would have been on immediately. So they raised Clark in a Truman Show style Midwestern family, just monitoring him, and his parents were actors, and the government knew he was an alien, and he was ultimately just being used as a weapon. And what would happen if Superman was he was raised right, and he was a good kid, and his puberty is when his power started to kind of happen, and his relationships. But then because of that, he's able to immediately start realizing his world isn't what he thinks it is.
Right. What
would that do to him? And it was sort of like dark Superman, right? Where he still wants to help and he still wants to use his powers, but he's also not going to be fucking told what to do. And I think that's like that plus Red Sun to me was like, oh, these two versions of the character show me what the real Superman could be. And so I kind of see that, but I highly suggest that read. It's great. Also in that version, what if Batman was like a black billionaire who pretty much was just like seeking reparations, essentially. Like we had I don't remember Spectrum, who is the Green Lantern character. I don't remember like what his origin was there. I think he was a little bit more like a comic relief-y, right? Aquaman was sort of more like a female version of a Shape of Water. Like that's what she looked like.
Oh yeah.
Right. I don't remember her name, but there's all these really great versions. And the Flash character is just like an athlete that has like Nike sponsorships and
like
shit.
A-Train.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit A-Train. Yeah, there's a little boys,
sure.
I think it inspired boys a little bit. But anyways, those two books really, I think, brought me back to liking Superman. Ironically, not reading Superman, but then I did. Then I would read like I would take years, but I'd read Birthright, and
Birthright, which is incredible for all seasons, which I think feels very much like the movie.
Right.
So what'd you think of the movie overall? Just like, a 2-minute general thoughts and like highlights and stuff.
It's funny. I think that what I really liked about it was, that's going to sound maybe a little bad, but the anticipation building up to it.
Right.
And that was partly just looking forward to see what this new story take was going to be.
Right.
I think there was a lot of push for that this was going to be a brighter movie and story and that sort of thing. And certainly after the last few years, I think that's what we've needed, because we've had a lot of other alternative takes. And it's been a long time since we've had something like the Christopher Reeves version and the earlier comics and that sort of thing. So I think especially right now, I think that really fits well with the current mood, at least for a lot of people. And I certainly would say that that's something that I would like to see some more of too, but not whitewashing things and that sort of stuff.
Well, and I think that's what James Gunn does so well, is that I think like he's very good at addressing the elephants in the rooms. And I wouldn't be surprised if that isn't something that does get, explored in ways. And I don't know. I feel like he like thread a needle so perfectly in giving us a completely different take, different from things we've seen on screen, like you said, since Reeves. But modernized. And again, I think like what laid the groundwork for it really was his work with Guardians, because it sort of fits that same vibe. And I also feel like what Marvel was able to do with Cap over the years and do it so successfully, specifically in phase 2 and 3, just really like figuring out a way to walk the line of like your blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white boy American hero in a real world, and the way that he can be both this thing that we put on, this symbol that we can put on a pedestal, and also something that he could address the problematic nature of what he does. And I don't know, but Gunn is, I don't know, he's great at doing that.
I think he's done really well, and I think I totally agree with the Captain America. I think Captain America comes across as a very Superman-esque titular characters, right?
Yes.
So I think one of the things I do like is the way that they're treading that. I just hope that it doesn't kind of degrade into a culture war or something along those lines in the future and that sort of thing. So,
you mean like in universe and Gunn's universe?
Oh, I mean outside.
Oh, gotcha. I mean, I think it already has.
I think it has too. To be
honest. I mean, I hate to break it to you.
But
I think we've already, unfortunately, gotten a little bit of that culture war just because
Yeah, the way it is.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
But I think it's important to have art that reflects a strong message if that's going to happen anyway. I'm glad the movie had something to say. Like,
sure.
If inevitably we're going to have a Superman that stands for actual truth, justice, and a better tomorrow, then it needs to be a confident enough film to say it with its full chest, and I think it did. So that's going to make the other people even more upset. And I think that's what we need to keep furthering is we cannot keep shirking, having a message for the sake of appealing to everyone. Like 4-quadrant doesn't mean appealing to Nazis.
Right. 100%. Yeah.
So it's a tricky thing.
It's also like you can make not every statement is a diss on an entire type of existence. I'm struggling to find the word, but you know what I mean. Like, there's not every statement has to be this disparaging thing, and so many people see that, which is very telling. To those people, but.
Also, quickly, while we're on new movies, you and I haven't really talked about it much, but we talked a little bit about. But you also saw Fantastic Four and liked it. And I think production design on both of these movies is really special. We talked about the brightness and the color in Superman, but I would argue Fantastic Four's production design is one of its most confident. Like, it's one of its most, like, we know what we're going to make. We're going to do everything to a T. Very Alex Ross to me. But there's two out of the 4 characters didn't 100% work for me, but the movie overall worked so well that I was okay with those 2 characters not quite landing. But what'd you think of the movie overall?
Fantastic Four was, well, I wouldn't say it was fantastic. I liked a large amount of it. Like we talked about already, I was really glad to see Galactus, but then him just being a giant kind of bothered me. I mean, he's got the power cosmic, and how is he gonna fight them? He's gonna crush them. Sure. And so for me, that was a little bit of almost anticlimactic.
I think that it's simply the return problem, whereas how do you decipher him from Thanos? And the power cosmic and the Infinity Gauntlet kind of lead to the ability to do a lot of the same shit. Yeah. And I could see them being like, well, we don't just want to have, he's big and purple already. Like, we don't want, interesting. I loved it. But like, that's a totally fair point of, like, at the end of the day.
To me, it's like, how do you do Cthulhu correctly?
Right.
I mean,
sure.
To really do it correctly, I mean, you have to really go beyond with the way you're going to have your theater presentation with it.
Right.
And how do you get something that's ephemeral that you just don't know how to quantify?
Sure.
And how do you make that into a visual that you can push? I mean, that would take some serious direction and vision.
I also think, though, that, like, I've gone back and forth on being like, should the first one have just been the Galactus? Should it not have been the thing that we all associate with the Fantastic Four and Surfer? Should it have been a different thing and then got us there? But then I'm realizing, like, no, actually, because I think that I totally get your argument of, like, oh, he's kind of just a giant at the end of the day. But I also feel like they let tech be the driving force, because that's the driving force of the Fantastic Four, at least for Reed.
Yeah.
And so I totally get that. And I feel like if they would have saved Galactus, you never would have been able to live up to that build.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been like getting it kind of out of the way, as much as that seems like it's dismissing it. And I thought it was great. I thought they did fun things with it. But I think it was kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't with them. And I think that they handled it in a way that was very satisfying for me.
I thought Silver Surfer's amongst my favorite debut characters. I thought they did such a good job of Shalabal. I thought the second act between, like, the giving birth in space around a black hole,
that's still
with
the best
Silver
scene.
Surfer, like, from the time they land at Galactus and you see him, like, in shadow and talking till they get back to Earth, that 20 minutes is some of the best Marvel's ever done. Like, that window is amongst Marvel's best, and that's such powerful, confident filmmaking, and I want to give those its flowers. But overall, it felt like the closest we've gotten to Kirby for me.
Yeah, and
the visuals were fantastic.
Right.
I mean, they really did blow me away. The thoughtfulness that seems to have gone into that, and I'm sure a lot of that is just pulling from old magazines.
Sure.
And everything else,
but honoring it
looks beautiful,
and just being like, well, we can just do this.
Yeah.
I was telling Coy, I don't know if you've ever heard me mention it, but I think this was like an extrapolation of all those feelings that I had in Love and Thunder, which I know is a divisive movie that not a lot of people loved. But in Love and Thunder, when we see Eternity, I got so emotional in the theater, because I was just like, this is a thing I never thought we would see on TV. And that was one of my favorite characters. That was one of those things, like, that was the thing I would draw in all my books because it was like a fun, easy thing for a kid to draw. You just draw like the outline of a person, then you fill them in and put stars. And I was like, and it was one of those things where I was like, God, this is that like, oh, the nostalgia is playing a driving force. And you can't let a whole movie rest on that because that's where we end up with bad movies that we've had many times. But I feel like it was the nostalgia, plus it was like, oh no, they actually did make me invested in the thing that I'm seeing. And to me, Fantastic Four was like the next step of that. I was like, oh, if you enjoyed Eternity, wait till you see Galactus.
Do you know how they're going to play Fantastic Four into the upcoming, is it even going to MCU?
Yeah, so I know that the Fantastic Four are leads of Doomsday. So they were the first chairs announced. Like they did this whole chair reveal of the cast. So like I don't know narratively.
I love by the way that you just said that as if he doesn't know, he would have any fucking idea what that means.
I know.
They
like
did
chairs.
They did a chair reveal.
They did it. Yeah. You know what?
What does that even fucking mean?
They
what is a
they
chair
showed
reveal?
the back of the like the director's chairs with their names on it, showing that they're all on set. That's how they revealed the cast for Doomsday.
So they scrolled across all of their names written on the back of their chairs, and it was just like for 6 hours.
Yes, 6 hours. It would hold on a chair for 10 minutes, and then it would move to the next chair, and people sat and watched the whole thing. I ran around and got work done and checked in on it, scrolled back like a person would. But like some people, I mean, people that made live stream money, good for them because they were on it all day. And we're still talking about it to this day. Excellent marketing. It's to this day a conversation, which is what you want something like that to be, and it cost them $7. But I also want to say my dad hasn't seen Thunderbolts. Gonna try to watch it tonight.
So
because
good.
if we have time, so we're gonna do short patron pods. No, but he hasn't seen Thunderbolts yet. I'm not sure if Thunderbolts or Fantastic Four is my number one of the year for Marvel. Superman's my number one comic movie of the year.
They're hand in hand for me.
They're both about 4-star for me.
It's such a different movie.
That's why I want to show him. I want to get his
flavors. Take. Yeah. Like it's almost hard to compare them because they're so drastically different.
But that's one of the only superhero movies he hasn't seen this year, or one of the big like releases. So we're gonna try to watch that tonight. It's like 2 hours and 6 minutes. So if we get back in time, it shouldn't be too crazy. But yeah, I think it's been an incredible year for superhero stuff. And I feel like it is a popular thing to denigrate comic book content right now because it has been so popular for so long.
And because there is a fucking lot of it. Let's not pretend like there isn't a whole ton of it.
And while there's a lot of it, they're not batting 1,000 anymore. Like I will totally own there are some swings and misses, but that's going to happen when you swing more. Right. So while, it is something that I've been a little bit more critical of Marvel because I think if they have more misses than hits, it's going to start to hurt. I need to be more critical now than ever because now they have competition. I happen to work with that competition, so people think I'm being biased.
Sure.
But
you are a corporate shill.
I am obviously shilling for the company that pays me. But when you have competition, that's when you have to up your game. And if they start falling behind now, and because of some of the decisions like Downey is Doom, which I'm concerned about, which I'm going to be open-minded till I see it, but I've voiced my concerns. I want to make it clear, I still think Marvel is absolutely crushing, and they've got 9 properties this year. Wow. We've had 8 of 9 released. Gosh. We still have Wonder Man left to go. But out of those 9, I've liked like 6 of the 8. Like we've still got 1 to go, and out of those, I think 6 are amazing. Never let it be not said that, 15-year-old me to 37-year-old me is gobsmacked. We had 6 incredible Marvel properties. Right. Like the fact that I'm like, oh, we haven't watched Thunderbolts yet. Gonna hope to watch that tonight. And that's just another Marvel movie this year. That's crazy. So I think it's really cool to live in this time. And without my dad, I wouldn't have had access to this stuff early enough to be an expert on it to get paid for it. And it's really cool that this is the culture we're in right now.
Yeah. Speaking of which, do you get like a percentage? How does that work?
He's like my manager, gets 10%.
I mean, like he definitely deserves it.
I did bring him to the Superman premiere.
Is the hope? Yeah. Let's not pretend like that's enough. Okay.
I'm trying here.
It's the hope is just that like, at least when you're old, he'll take care of you. I guess that's like the payoff, right?
I guess one always hopes that.
Yeah.
I think that was in the being a good son contract, but it's also now in the like, okay, my career exists because of you contract.
Yeah. Listen, let's not talk about my parents.
But I am supremely lucky
that contract exists.
Yeah, I was gonna say a different situation with like my parents encouraged all of my arts from the beginning and were like, yeah, keep reading the comics. Like I'm very lucky that I had the one set of parents I know that weren't like, you're wasting your time with those, because if I'd put them down, what would I be doing in LA right now?
Well, delightful. This was fun. Thanks for joining us today. Do you want to
any parting?
Do you want to see? I was gonna say, do you want to see if we could take a hotline call?
Let's take a hotline call if we go on.
Hey, Jake, and a very special happy birthday to Coy. I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday and also point something out that I been meaning to point out to you, but I think I've forgotten so far, is I found out while I was looking up Liam Neeson movies that he was in a movie called The Deadpool that came out in 1988, and it's a Dirty Harry movie, which I thought was a fun coincidence or what have you, or maybe you're destined to be a Deadpool fan because The Deadpool came out the year you were born. This is a very silly observation, I know, but I just thought that was funny. And but either way, once again, happy birthday, and you guys have a good week. Bye.
In Chinese astrology, in the Year of the Dragon, in Liam Neeson astrology, I'm the Deadpool, and it was fated to get to this point in 1988. Have you seen Naked Gun yet?
Yes, it's fantastic. We will talk about it on the Patreon pod. Wait, didn't we already talk about it on the Patreon pod?
I think we did. I just didn't remember if it was you and I that talked about it, because we talk about a lot of movies.
I know. It's game.
Oh, yeah, we did, because of Paul. Because of Paul Walter Hauser. We talked about Paul a lot.
Because it was freaking great. Fantastic. Well, there you go.
Oh, it's so good. I thought I called you after because I lost my mind. It's Naked Gun good.
I was so worried.
It's a National Lampoon Christmas 1 good.
Nice.
Yeah, they got everything right. They did a great job. Awesome. Thanks for the call, Gilbert. Hey, Coy, how do people call the show if they want to leave a message for the hotline?
If you would like to lead the conversation and guide us on our journey, that is you guys, with 818-794-0722. That's 818-794-0722. You can also send a voice memo to contact@koicast.com. While we're doing wrap out plugs, I would highly recommend you check out koicast.com. There is access to the Discord there, totally free. There is lots of merch there, not free, but every dollar goes to support us, which is better than free because it helps this show exist. We're talking shirts, we're talking hoodies, we're talking mugs, we're talking hats. If you want to be Koi Cast clad, that is the place to do it. You can also tag me and stuff, and I'll share it on my far too many followers for me to get off social media like my mental health says I should. So if you'd like to encourage my slow descent into madness, follow me on the social medias that I hate so much but love you for being on. You can also check out the Patreon at patreon.com/Poppa Jandreau, which is the opposite of my internet experience.
Patreon.com/Koicast.
Thank you.
Yep.
You can also check out patreon.com/Koicast, and there you'll find literally hundreds of episodes of multiple reviews per episode. So we're talking thousands of reviews, all carefully correlated and organized by Jake Lloyd Bacon. We do 6 to 10 reviews times how many episodes?
The next episode will be 237.
So 237. Not in a row, thankfully. We've had to breathe. But say we do 10 an episode, that is 2,370 reviews for your ears. If that ain't worth a whopping $10 to $30, I don't know what is. There's different tiers. Get on over to the Patreon and check out the different tiers you can dabble into.
I don't think we have a $30 tier. I think that's
is it
too
10
much.
and 20?
Yes, I believe.
10 to 20. If you'd like to pay 30, we'll accept it. That
is true. You can pay more.
You can.
We do need to replace the board.
Yeah, so yeah, it's true. The board did break. If you'd like to pay $10 at a time in 60 months, you can help buy a new board. But that said, the $10 tier gets you access to all of that. The $20 tier gets you access to that. And you get entered into the wheel where we spin the wheel every month. And on that once a month, you are nominated the Unpunchable Gift Horse. And you get a piece of merch from the store while also getting all of the beautiful swag.
I just realized that today's episode comes out on the 1st.
So we should
do it.
Yeah, especially because I'm traveling.
I don't have
the
it
wheel
prepped.
set up. So we'll do that. We'll do that in the Discord or something.
Yeah, or we'll do it by the end of the month at some point.
Yeah, we'll
knock
make it happen.
Thanks to everybody who's already on the Patreon.
It's how we survive, how this is possible.
We are a small but mighty group of like-minded, delightful nerds. It is so much fun getting to know all of you. I love the fact that we've got, familiar faces and names. And that's my favorite part of the program is the community that we're building. So thanks for being there and help us out by spreading it around.
You'll notice there's no Blue Chew ads in this, so this is how it's run. It's out here, not Squarespace.
That's because it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, well,
I tried it.
He's just out here.
I tried it.
Sorry, Alexandra. He's doing his best. He's figured it out. But that's gonna do it for this episode of KoiCast. I want my dad to have the final thoughts. My dad actually sometimes listens to this show, so he knows some of these names.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know. He knows some of these names as well, but Any last thoughts for the September episode of KoiCast?
We didn't even talk about your birthdays.
We did.
And the episode's called Birthdays with Dad.
Yep, that's true. Any last thoughts?
Happy birthday, Koi.
Hey, now the episode title makes sense.
And happy birthday, Dad!
Yay! He's a September baby too.
Did you know that? Did you know that my half birthday is his birthday and his half birthday is my birthday?
Yeah, he's March.
I think I remember.
Yeah, on the exact. That's crazy.
Like March 15th. We literally we 6 months celebrate each other's
Also,
now it's my season.
Also, I didn't realize that you know what the day after your birthday is? You know what your birthday welcomes?
Oh?
100 days till Christmas.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's your birthday, and then the next
100
day
days till Christmas.
is 100 days till Christmas.
I have the last day that isn't in the countdown. I'm the last day before.
Now,
it's like Christmas
Now, in
season.
fairness, 100 days is 1/3 of a year, which seems like a long time to be counting down till Christmas.
Have you been to CVS? It starts before my
It'd be
birthday.
like, yeah, but did you know what the day after Christmas is? It's 364 days till Christmas.
You go to Target, they'll tell you. That's what it starts at. It starts on
Don't
December 26th.
go to Target, but
Just
you
in
get
general.
it.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Do you want to say goodbye to all the peoples and do all the things that we do?
Yeah, let's say bye to all the people who do all the things. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you for being here. And thank you, as always, to Comic Books for existing. See you soon. Bye, y'all.
It's Dragon Wagon.